lot of you guys' rookie drafts already started, already finished, already concluded. None of mine actually did. Not a surprise because we always leave it for 1 week after the NFL draft ends, mostly because I got a bunch of idiots in my leagues that don't pay their buy-in until I start yelling at them after the NFL draft, and that's the period that we're in right now. But as I'm going through my draft prep, relooking at my rankings, relooking at everything that happened in the NFL draft, I'm looking at some insane values in rookie drafts right now relative to where they're getting drafted and keep trade cut. So today I wanted to make a video of 5 dudes, maybe 6 dudes, that I feel like are must-draft rookies, guys that you have zero choice. I will come to your house and I will do bad things to you and your family if you do not leave your rookie drafts with these players. And don't talk about my pain and nail. This is from the NFL draft stream. This finger just hasn't come off yet, all right? So just move past it. Look past it, please. Stop being judgmental. We're in 2024. You know what? I'm going to paint all my nails if I need to. Caleb Williams, how you doing? Now, I'm going to try to stick to players who are not in the first round of rookie drafts, right? Everybody wants every player in the first round. I don't think it's helpful to talk about all the really popular players. I don't think it's helpful to tell you that Rome Odunze is going to be a really good player and he's attached to Caleb Williams. I made this video last year, and of the guys that I talked about, these were on the list, okay? Devon Achane, Sam Laporta, Josh Downs, Rashee Rice, and Jaden Reed. Those were the must-draft players from last year, okay? If you had 0 first-round picks last year and you walked away from your draft with those players, you would have one of the best teams in your Dynasty league, I would assure you, or at least have an insane amount of value that you can move off and start to tier up and things like that. If you had only 2nd and 3rd and even 4th-round picks, it might be Michael Wilson was on that list too. Listen, there's still opportunity there. There's like 270 targets that left Arizona. It's Michael Wilstein season. If you just left with those guys, you'd be sitting pretty right now. So we're going to try to replicate that success from last year and leave your rookie drafts with these 6 players. All right? Y'all know what to do. Shout out Ant. First player on this list. I've made a rule in our office that we're all collectively moving past the Falcons pick at number 8 of Michael Penix, and now we're on board. And I actually mean this from a very serious standpoint. And in tomorrow's video, Adam's going to do a deep dive just on this subject, just on Michael Penix Jr. He is our, I think, 10th or 11th ranked rookie. On our website right now, BDGE.co, you can not only play our daily trivia games, but our Dynasty rankings are up there too for our members. Michael Penix is the first player on this list. He is currently going off the board as the 17th rookie, according to Keep Trade Cut. I get it. They just signed Kirk Cousins. Michael Penix is old. He's got all the injuries, all that kind of shit. And he'll be old by the time he steps on the field if everything on paper plays itself out where it's like Kirk is great for 2 years, 3 years, and then Penix gets on the field. Here's the way the Falcons were thinking when they drafted Michael Penix. Very clearly, you're not taking a quarterback in that position unless Penix was your number 2 player on the big board, okay? If you didn't think that he was not only the second best quarterback, but the second best player in the draft behind Caleb Williams, most likely, you don't make that pick. They clearly felt like they had their guy. They clearly felt like they were getting an absolutely blue chip prospect right there at the most blue chip position in Michael Penix. From a Dynasty perspective, again, Adam's going to go way more in depth on Michael Penix tomorrow, and I think he has a really good point of view on this about why you should walk away from your rookie draft with him, and I agree with it. We talked about it for a while. Michael Penix is a dude that you are going to draft in your rookie drafts, and he is someone that like is just going to accrue value as the next year and the next 2 years push by, and maybe he gets onto the field before then. He is like a high yield saving account. Okay, if any of you guys use a high yield savings account, or if any of you guys use like Marcus by Goldman Sachs, it's a great fucking savings account right now that you can actually move money in and out to. Just, you know, a little lifestyle note there. There's a 5% return on the money that you have in your bank account. Okay, so you could just have it sit there and you're getting 5% over the year on the investment with no downside. That is what Michael Penix Jr. is. And the best part about Michael Penix is this. Every day, every week, every month that we move closer to him getting onto the field, his value is going to rise a little bit, just like a high yield savings account. Okay, so right now we're like, it's going to be so far away by the time that he actually gets onto the field. But again, every month that passes by, every year that goes by, the value of him just goes up and up and up the closer he gets to getting onto the field. So you're drafting a player of value who, again, is going off at the 204, 205, according to Keep Trade Cut, whose value is only going to continue to move up from the 204 to the 203 to the 202 to the 201 to the 112 to the 111 as the years progress. So yes, it is a long game, but Dynasty is a long game, okay? And Penix, when he does get on the field, the Falcons' offensive situation is one of the better ones in the entire league right now between London and Pitts and Bijan and, locking up Chris Lindstrom. And their offensive line is a strong point for them. And not having Arthur Smith is a huge dub for us. Darnell Mooney, I think, is going to be a good secondary piece. But even by then, by the time next year or whatever, we'll probably have another wide receiver in the mix. So I think the situation is there. I like Michael Penix from a talent perspective a lot. I think he is a very good quarterback with great touch and will fit into our offensive system great. Of course, this is an investment, but it's an investment that there's no real downside to other than having to wait. His value will only continue to rise. And you could have made this argument, honestly, for like Will Levis last year. But being a second-round quarterback is not the same as being a top 10 pick, okay? He was a top 10 pick that went before guys like J.J. McCarthy. He was a top 10 pick that went before those types of dudes where he's guaranteed to see the field. We're not sitting in a position where there won't be a Michael Penix season or there won't be a Michael Penix era in Atlanta. If he was in the second round, if we got him with the 39th pick overall, then no, I would absolutely not be taking him at the 111, 112 in rookie drafts because we're not assured that era comes. But the fact that they told us after signing Kirk, drafting him 8th overall, I'm telling you, this means that they had him number 2 on their big board, overall players, and they felt like he's a franchise chip for them. So with Michael Penix, his era is guaranteed to come in Atlanta, which means his value for Dynasty is guaranteed to go way higher than the 17th overall, okay? He's the first player on my list. Second player on my list, Jaylen Wright. All right, we're kind of diving down. Actually, you know what? We're gonna save Jaylen Wright for next. And because Jermaine Burton is getting higher ranked in our rankings, he's gonna go first. I have Jermaine Burton. He's like a top 20 player for me, 21 overall right now. According to Keep Trade Cut, he's like the 38th, 37th player right now. So you're talking about at the bridge of the 3-4 turn, which is crazy. And Jermaine Burton's a dude, I understand why he's kind of like, he's got some off-the-field issues. He is not like the typical Alabama receiver, the Devonta Smiths or the Jalen Waddles or the even Jameson Williams or like those types of builds where they have an insane amount of, and he's actually similar to them in build, physically, stature-wise. But in terms of prospect-wise, in terms of like the hype around him, obviously not there. But the Bengals felt like he is good enough to use a day 2 pick on him. What kind of blew me away, he is really explosive. He eats up chunks of the field. I don't think he's that dissimilar from a Jameson Williams type, to be quite honest with you. And there's a messy situation, obviously, out there in Cincinnati with T. Higgins. Likely to be on the team this year? Maybe. I don't know. None of us know, okay? So we don't know who the real wide receiver 2 is going into this year, but he is the next highest drafted player on that depth chart outside of Jamar and T. Higgins. And when you look at his reception perception numbers from Matt Harmon, who does a fantastic fucking job with this stuff, go check that out, receptionperception.com. He has an 86 percentile success rate versus man, 86 percentile success rate versus press coverage. And this is a quote-unquote from Matt. Among the players on the site, as of the time of this profile, both Burton's success rate versus man and press coverage scores are top 3 in the class for their respective metrics. Those marks are above the 85th percentile. Against press specifically, he trails only Rome Odunze and Marvin Harrison Jr. That is some lofty company. Basically, this dude is a savant route runner. He is a savant separator, and he got day 2 capital, okay? We are overthinking this if we are taking day 3 players over Jermaine Burton. Goes to Cincinnati, tied with Joe Burrow for his rookie contract. Again, just don't overthink this. Jaylen Wright was a dude who's 3rd on this list. He went 4th round to Miami. He's not a player I was in love with pre-draft, but he is a crazy explosive athlete, sub 4.4 runner, really fucking fast, and it has that like Tony Pollard build where he's underratedly 210-ish pounds, so he can be on the field as often as you want him to be. He's going at the beginning of like the 3rd round in rookie drafts right now, and he falls into that Miami Dolphins offense where it's just speed. He fits so perfectly. Now, projecting what his role is going to be is tough. Devon Achane is the best inside runner that team has. Again, there's a reason Achane was so good last year, not just because of his speed. Achane was if you look, go back to last year, it would be on the main channel, it wouldn't be on the Dynasty channel. But if you go search BDGE Fantasy Football, I made specific videos just for Devon Achane. Actually, I'll link it. Go watch my video pre-NFL draft of Devon Achane last year. He was a wonderful inside runner. Like, understood how to read his blocks and running through the trenches. Plus the speed made him a fantastic fucking player. Jaylen Wright is not the same player, but is borderline the same caliber of athlete. Clearly, Miami has a type, all right? So you add Jaylen Wright to Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane. Now, I think the sentiment, people who aren't really diving deep enough into it will be like, Raheem Mostert's on his way out. I get it. He's old and he's coming off of an incredibly like outlier-ish season where he Mostert's contract, he's here in Miami for the next. They have to pay him like $400,000 next year. Okay, it's nothing against the books. So he was clearly a very big piece of their offense last year. And because they don't have to pay him, he's going to be on the team for at least another year. Devon Achane is obviously on his rookie contract. I don't know how much Jaylen Wright plays in his rookie year. That being said, Mostert and Achane both deal with a ton of injuries historically and through his short NFL career. So there's a really good chance Jaylen Wright gets onto the field next year and just fits perfectly in that offense. That's an offense where I don't know that you need to be an incredible inside runner to succeed. I just know that you need to be able to hit a hole and manufacture speed in that offense to succeed. So Jaylen Wright is a third-round pick. Feels like one of the easiest selections in rookie drafts right now, regardless of how you feel about him as like a full 3-down runner, which I do think he could play all 3 downs given his size and his athleticism, but he fits just so perfectly in the Miami offense. Layup pick for them. A couple spots later in our rankings, I have Issac Guerendo, the Louisville running back. So the Niners took Issac Guerendo in the 4th round, and they've taken like a middle round running back, I feel like, every single year. And prior to C-Mac, they were fine just rolling those dudes out. And C-Mac's there. C-Mac's going to be there for a year, maybe 2 years, whatever the case may be. But they also badly need a running back too there. Okay, Elijah Mitchell has turned into just an absolute cone over the last year, 2 years. Unfortunately, he was so cool as a rookie, then just went down a path that we don't want players to go down. They need a number 2. And Issac Guerendo, I think, fits that role perfectly. All right, gives them a big body player, gives them speed, gives them athleticism. I thought Issac Guerendo, when I watched this film, was underrated as an inside runner too. I will say he played in college for I think like 6 years, and until last year never had more than like 80 carries, something like that. But it was all, and this could be a concern, obviously, it was all injury related. He had like hamstring injuries all of 2018, 2019, I think again in 2020. Had a season-ending lower body injury in 20. It was really bad luck, just a string of lower body injuries, which that just might be part of his game. But he finally strung together a full season last year in Louisville and was fantastic. And given his size, he like broke the combine, all right? This is something I tweeted out a couple of weeks ago, April 11th per se. We'll put it up on the screen. There are 5 running backs in NFL combine history to run below a 4.4, weigh 215 plus pounds, and have a burst score of 120 plus. This is data per Roto Underworld or playerprofiler.com. Those 5 running backs that fit that criteria, again, 4.4 or below, weigh 215 plus pounds, 120 plus burst score. Saquon, Jonathan Taylor, Breece Hall, Adrian Peterson, and Issac Guerendo. That is an insane group to be a part of just from an athletic standpoint. We've had plenty of athletic dudes come and go in the NFL, and it doesn't always translate, but that is a crazy list. Like, we don't have one overachiever in the athleticism department that whiffed given those numbers. And that don't mean he's going to be a fucking Hall of Famer, but I'm trying to walk away from my drafts with him because the 49ers offense is one that I want to have pieces in, especially if like Debo gets moved. I think I read something today that said if Debo gets moved post June 1st, I think they're going to save like $14 million against the cap or something like that. If I had to predict what happens, I think Debo gets moved. And in whatever time period saves them the most money. I think Ayuk deserves the extension. I think he gets it there. I think he's like the real wide receiver 1 there. He's the separator. I think Debo's awesome, but I feel like he's a little bit of a luxury. Maybe not a luxury to that offense because they use him so well. But I think if one of them gets moved, it's probably Debo. And the reason I bring that up is like, yeah, there's not a lot of room to eat behind C-Mac there. But if Debo's out, that is also opening up probably like 5 to 6 manufactured touches a game out of the backfield. Either way, this is a high upside play where if Isaac gets onto the field, C-Mac injury, whatever the case may be, he could have a sort of like Pacheco type run. So love Isaac. You should be drafting him at the end of all your drafts. Now, a player that's got a ton of buzz recently, and I think he's just jumped the gun here at this point, depending on how like into the Dynasty community you are, you know about Kimani Vidal. All right. He was the Chargers 6th round pick. And I think it's probably getting a little bit overblown at this point. But he's going into a backfield where they have Gus Edwards, who's old, and I don't know how successful he's going to be outside of Baltimore. And you have J.K. Dobbins, who is coming off of major injuries at this point. And it's just 2 guys I don't know that we can count on for success over the long period. Now, Kimani Vidal, 5'8", 213 pounds out of Troy. He's Troy's all-time leading rusher. 5'8", small, but BMI, he's in the 91st percentile. He ran a 4.46, which puts him in the 88th percentile for weight-adjusted speed score. He was just a good player in college, and he checks a lot of boxes that make it feel like he's an underrated small school guy that could translate to the NFL, and he just goes to a perfect situation where Harbaugh's coming in, Greg Roman's there, they draft Joe Alt, so their offensive line is going to be fantastic. They have no receiving weapons outside of fucking Ladd McConkey and Josh Palmer right now, so you just imagine they're going to be extremely fucking run-heavy and need to feed people, all right? So if any of those guys ahead of him, I wouldn't even be surprised if he goes into the season as the RB2 there. It's just a situation you probably want to attach yourself to, with a head coach you want to attach yourself to, a system that you want to attach yourself to, and a guy that's really, really athletic, okay? So Kimani Vidal is someone that, listen, if he starts going at like the 2-3 turn, I'm going to take players that didn't have 6th-round draft capital. But if you can get him at the end of the 3rd round, if you can get him in the 4th round, if you can get him on your taxi squad, that is an immediate smash on the draft or add or pick up button. So Kimani Vidal is the next guy up on this list. And the last guy up on this list, I have Javon Baker, okay? And if you're enjoying the video thus far, all I ask is that you hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel. We'll be doing Dynasty videos pretty much every single day up until the summer, and then we'll start to switch over to redraft probably like June, maybe end of June, mid-July. So if you're only here for Dynasty, but you play redraft, we also have that channel. So we'll link that down below as well. Javon Baker, the second receiver that the New England Patriots drafted. And the reason that I have him over Jaylen Polk, I like both of them. I think they were both really good ads for New England. But this is kind of like a Luke Musgrave, Tucker Kraft situation of last year, where I was like, I actually like Tucker Kraft more than I like Luke Musgrave, to be honest with you, last year. But even if I like their profiles the same, I thought their profiles were similar outside of draft capital. Give me the guy that's going a round or two later in rookie drafts. And that's kind of the case with Jaylen Polk to Javon Baker. So we have him ranked like as the 25th, 26th overall player in rookie drafts. So you're talking about like the 301, 302. Keep Trade Cut has him 31, 32. So you're talking about much later into the 3rd round, okay? So we like him as a value. Javon Baker is a really good possession receiver. He's a go up and get the ball type receiver. He was really, really good in college coming out. I think there speaks a little bit to the fact that they like Jaylen Polk more because obviously they took him before Javon Baker. But I thought this was a great add to the team because right now they have, I think Demario Douglas will probably lead the team in targets. I think he was probably the best receiver they had on the team last year. But if you look at the current makeup of the Patriots, where they add Drake May, right? So it's not Mac Jones throwing the ball anymore. It's not Bailey Zappi throwing the ball anymore. They should have a functional passing offense, hopefully. But it was Pop Douglas. It was Kendrick Bourne. It's Juju Smith-Schuster. It's all slot guys that operate over the middle of the field, okay? They needed outside guys, and Jaylen Polk and Javon Baker are those possession receivers, okay? So I love the ad. I really like Javon Baker coming out of school. I think he's a good separator. I think he's a good contested catch guy. I think he's really good at the point of the catch, and I think he adds something to this offense that is not there. So I thought that was just like a really sound pick from the Patriots, building around good players, all right? They need a lot of good players. They need to use their draft picks on good players, not always swing for the fences, and I think they did that with Jaylen Polk. I think they did it with Javon Baker. Jaylen Polk goes a whole round earlier, if not more than that, in rookie draft, so I will probably settle on the dude that went a round later, 2 rounds later in the NFL draft, but you get him at crazy value in rookie drafts. For the record, again, I like both of them, but Javon Baker is going to be my guy based on value because I'd probably rather spend that 2nd round pick. Also, just to end it here, love like that area where Jaylen Polk's going. If it's like late 2nd, you're able to get, like, this is the first year in so long you're able to get 1st round NFL wide receivers like deep into the 2nd round. The value from like 2.6 to 2.9, where you're getting Ricky Pearsall, 1st round draft pick, where you're getting Xavier Leggett, 1st round draft pick, where even dudes like Adonai Mitchell, who for me was like a top 5 talent at the wide receiver position, drops to Indy. Obviously, it's a tough sell given they're a super run-heavy offense, and they already have Michael Pittman there. But getting him on his profile, 2nd round draft pick, going to an offense that, you know, should be on the rise and get better and better each year, down at the 2.6, 2.7, like I think all those dudes are incredible value there. So if you're sitting there, I wouldn't move off of them. I would just take the guy who just got 1st round talent or 1st round draft capital, or the dude who has 1st round talent that went to a good situation, okay? So that is my list right there. Let me know who you are not leaving your rookie drafts without this year. I hope this list treats you as well as last year's list did. We will take a peek back on it a year from now. All right. So good luck in your rookie drafts if you have not had them yet. If you are looking to join a Dynasty League, you can do so in our Discord. We are organizing all of them for you guys right now. I think we've put together about 20 already in the last few weeks. So join the Discord, free to join, not free to join the league. You have to pay the buy-in, obviously, but we're not making you pay to use our organization. Okay. So jump into the Discord. Easy to figure out how to join a league, whether you're new or you just want to add another league to your resume. Okay, I'm out. I love you. Mwah.